Welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Daddy Knows Best channel, here to help you understand current social issues and the world around you. Become a successful guy and person. Women, you're invited to this channel. I love you and I'd love to help you as well. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Disney, a little bit about the injustice in the world, but also encourage you people out there to make your own content, to make your own channels, to get your word out, to get your voice out there. A lot of people say that there's too much information or there's too much out there. There's little to no information out there, really. There's little information. We have people like CNN and Fox News. Again, I hate both of them, both Fox News and CNN, and you should too. These organizations that don't really give you any real news, that don't tell you about what's really happening in the world, and we have to decentralize and get this information down, away from propaganda, away from these extremely highly paid people who are motivated to sell news by fear. Journalism is dead, as you know. That these people make up articles. There's people who've been recorded, faking that they're in different locations when they're in the same studio, to make it look like they're across the world or they're across the country. Anyways, let's jump into this discussion here today. This is about Disney. I don't know if you've been paying attention recently, but Disney has been suffering a lot. We'll talk about the whole issue, but let's get a little bit here from a young Ripa 59. Love the guy, fantastic content, and let him discuss this topic a little bit, and we'll dive into it and talk about the news a little bit. So let's go. Let's jump into it.
It was like, well, right-wing media is taking it to Disney and going after Disney, when essentially all that he's saying is that, oh hell, I have it right here. I forgot about it. It's right here.
Let's go.
See if we can.
Invest in Invesco.
Let me get the ad to go through. But as you see right here, CNN Business said Disney investors aren't having as awful a year as Netflix shareholders, but that's not saying much. Tide of the magic is gone for Disney investors. Disney's not in a good spot right now.
Yeah, let's pause it real quick. If y'all don't know, Disney's having huge problems. They're losing tons of stocks and shares. We'll talk about CNN in a second. But they actually shut down their CNN Plus. And they sent out a newsletter, CNN did, telling everybody why. But I'll talk about that too.
Let's see what Brian Stelter had to say.
Targeting Mickey Mouse. In the United States, we're seeing a theme of the midterm elections emerging. It's the way you can see a wave start to form far from shore before it breaks on the beach.
What he's saying there is he's saying that there is going to be a movement or something's coming, but he's saying it's kind of ominous. Some change is good. Change we can believe in. Movements we can believe in. Some things are inspirational. But when some people have movements, they're dangerous. They're scary.
The theme, the talking point on the right, is about protecting kids from the dangers.
And again, we're just going to label everybody who, is opposed to Disney and everybody who is involved in this as right-wing. Classic smear, stereotype, and hate from CNN.
Of the Walt Disney Company.
Oh,
what?
Really. But Disney is just a stand-in. It's just a symbol for something bigger. A conservative backlash to growing acceptance of gay and transgender people. A conservative fear that
I'm not listening to this guy. To straw man everybody.
Exactly. These people are liars. There's people who watch CNN and they have no idea what's going on with this issue. They have no idea what's happened in Florida and what actions were taken. All they know now and all they've heard is that conservatives hate gay people and that they're hurting Disney. That's all that these people who are highly uneducated, and they love to talk about education, that's all they know. That's all they're going to listen to. That's all they're going to hear. That's going to be their talking point. They're going to go tell their family. They're going to go tell their friends, and that is something that they believe is established truth. And if you try to argue with them with anything about the issue that caused the issue and what the actual issue actually is, they will just stereotype you. Right wing. And everything else in the book, that you hate gays and everything. I think it's very clear that I don't hate gay people, and we don't here. But this issue here, guys, it's unbelievable. Let me explain the actual issue for you if you don't know. So the issue, the whole story, let's make it a minute long. Let's not waste any time. Essentially, You know, there was a bill going through that gave parents more rights and protections against parents who are indoctrinating their kids. It's one thing to teach young kids that they have these options, these identities or these orientations. You know, I have to be very PC here for YouTube. I had that video shut down just yesterday. But the thing is, you know, that went through. That was democracy in action. You know, the people voted, and it was you know, they made a law that gave parents more rights to, you know, be able to take their kids out of schools. You know, kind of, you know, report or say that teachers shouldn't be teaching certain things in schools. So this isn't anti-gay. This isn't hating, you know, saying that gay kids can't go to school or gay kids can't express themselves, or, you know, that, you know, in a lot of schools, you know, they still teach that that's an orientation, of course. The problem is teachers were doing the extreme. The things that CNN lies and tells you does not exist. Teachers literally were taking, and are across the country, if you live somewhere like in California or New York or Oregon, teachers are taking kids aside if they think that, and encouraging kids to be gay because they think that it's being hidden. They think that your orientation is being suppressed, and also encouraging, paid by your tax dollars, you're going to be paying for it. You know, pills, estrogen or testosterone to change them, change their bodies, and also, you know, assignment surgery to change their bodies physically, again, paid by your tax dollars. So the thing is that CNN is not being honest at all. They're completely lying about the issue. And so somebody at Disney was very unhappy. There was a couple of people who tweeted and kind of it wasn't official. It was not an official declaration from Disney, but a bunch of people, and it was kind of the attitude you could tell of Disney that they were very unhappy with this issue with Florida. And a lot of these Twitter types people, these CNN types, hate Florida for multiple reasons. They're more freedom-minded. They proved, you know, the coof that, you know, it wasn't really as bad as it was. They sell, you know, they can do what they want. There's a large group of Cubans and other freedom-minded Latinas and Spanish people, and they constantly try to shame and ostracize and act like these people don't exist. So don't you dare come to me, Daddy Knows Best channel here, and act like I'm a racist when the CNN and these people and Twitter types are the ones who are suppressing and hating people. And hating conservatives as well. And again, I'm not a conservative. So the thing is, after they put out this tweet, there was some, you know, backlash against Disney, and you know, Disney did not want to be seen in a bad light. So the CEO, I believe it was, came out and made an official statement that they make, you know, entertainment. We make entertainment for everyone. All political, just a neutral family, something that can have a legacy, something that can entertain, something that's not political, something that's not focused on multiple genders or whatever, and you know, just family entertainment like Disney should be, and Disney was at least somewhat in the past. So he said that out. That was in a public, that was an official statement. The thing is, after that happened, because previously the previous Disney CEO hired all of these leftists. They hired all of these radicals, and they essentially uprised and forced him and rebelled against his company, and also he was shamed, you know, forced to almost make an apology and take back what he had said. So now what's going on as this continues, you know, they made another public statement essentially saying that they are, you know, against family rights. Essentially, they're opposed to these actions by the people in Florida, democracy. And they, again, these types, just like California, they don't really care about your democracy, your choice, your voice, your truth. They want to change the world with their money, their power, their influence, and their control of you. Disney is actively trying to change Florida. California is actively trying to change Florida. There's been a history with them, California against Florida and California against Texas, and New York has been involved, Illinois, and a few other places out there like Michigan as well. So these people don't want your voice to be heard. They don't want you to be able to vote, to put in laws to protect your own children. Public schools, have no place to be teaching these orientations, and also the debate is they're doing it far too young. They're teaching little like 7- and 8-year-old kids. They're already, it's far too extreme, but all kinds of things that they shouldn't be told or know about or be encouraged. But that's the thing, they're being encouraged to do these types of things at like 8, 9, 10 years old, and now they're going to be told that they should be or should do these other things, the LGBTQ, etc. They're going to be told that they should be doing that, or they should have that type of identity as well. And again, the issue really boils down to parents' sovereignties. Parents should be able to take their kids out of public schools whenever they want, get that taxpayer-funded dollars. They should be able to go to whichever school they want. Parents and kids' rights. They should be able to oppose teachers, tell them that they're wrong, that not impact their kids' standing and education. Kids should be able to oppose their teachers, especially if it's something that's not purely based on science and purely based on facts. What's the purpose of education? You're really going to, hurt somebody, stop them from getting a diploma, or make it less likely for them to get in college, which, again, college is a complete joke and messed up as well. But you're going to stop or hurt or take away from people, and they want to do this. Colleges don't want, again, I took an HR class at college, and again, this was a private religious college, and in the textbook we were still being taught, and it was still a part of the class that we were taught to ostracize or target white Christian conservatives. I'm not lying about this, especially regarding gun rights. I was taught to do that. You were taught, and all these people in college, and this was a conservative, arguably, a lot of people argue mostly white religious college, and this was being taught, and this was expected. And my professor did get, I wrote the best article, I believe, in the entire class, and there was another project we did, and they essentially admitted that I had done the best in the school had ever seen of that project. I did the best that they'd ever seen and will probably ever see. You really can't do much better. And they still gave me like an 80, I believe it was, or a 70. And essentially what their response was to my paper, or my study, was essentially that it was interesting, suggesting that I was problematic regarding this issue. So let's continue. I don't want to make this a huge, long video here today, but there's a lot that needs to be said out there in the world, really. So I wanted to joke and mention, you're probably curious why I even got my last video shut down and why I really couldn't share it to you. Well, there it is for a second. Hopefully that won't get us in trouble. So again, connected to this CNN, all their lies and all, they're contriving that this issue is not more complex or more important, that it just boils down to hate of conservatives. That conservatives, it boils down to them just hating gay people. Well, CNN isn't going to tell you, but I don't know if y'all know, but on Twitter, here, let's look at this. There's a page, and they don't give any commentary, they don't make any videos. All they do is just repost feminist, and it's called Libs of TikTok. It doesn't have any tone. You coming to this page, you're supposed to see it as, you could see it as exposing them, but they don't give any commentary, any views, and it's actually very popular. And there's a lot of very crazy, people out there on Twitter. And this person who owns this and does this was doxxed. And if you don't know what doxxed is, they released all their personal information and targeted them. And CNN has no problem with people doing this. Again, you can simply, you don't even have to make commentary. If you just share something that can possibly put these people in a negative light, if you're not a part of their team, you're that bad. And this is on Twitter. This is about as neutral as you can go, about as hide as much, cover your face. Some people say scaredy cat as you can go. And if you do become successful or get a big enough page, they will target you. And that's the kind of world we live in today. That is the world we live in, and there's no mistaking it. This is why we have so many cultural issues. You can vote the way you want to vote. You can feel the way you want to feel. You can believe the way you want to believe. And, you know, then people are going to oppose you. And again, I don't care for Trump. This is considered a conservative agency, but the thing is, you know, these articles don't get out. Let me show you this here. Let's here earlier. I'm probably losing some of the stuff I was going to show you. Yes, CNN is not a news network. I wanted to show you that as well. But, you know, if you try to share any of these things, they're hidden. They're hidden. You're not. So look at this. I wanted to show that y'all this, for example. With Biden, you know, you criticize Biden. We'll get to this in a second. This account was suspended. A suspended account. It was the same way on TikTok when I was trying to get involved with TikTok. You are suspended, and again they laughed and act like these bannings and censorship did not exist, but then they laughed about it. Then they said it was. Then they admitted that it existed, and then they act like it's just completely normal. That is their pattern. That is their pattern to, you know, cook the frog slowly, as they say, as you slowly turn up the temperature. So CNN is not a news network. That's the kind of thing. Again, Fox is bad as well. But, you know, the reason why CNN got popular was because of their outrage media, was because of Trump. You know, you can't, CNN, it was only popular and became extremely popular because of their hot takes and their drama and the emotion that they could get regarding Trump. We're not going to discuss Trump. He's not the best guy. But the thing is, you know, they're struggling, and they're going to continue to struggle because they're based on drama, and not only drama, but just outright lies. This is what they like. They're not helping people, just like Disney. CNN is not needed. CNN is not an essential agency. Again, they have these protections, and the biggest part of this Disney drama with hurting Disney, and what Disney's actually being hurt by, is that they're going to remove their tax protections. If you don't know, Disney, at least in Florida, for their theme park and all of that, you know, the world of Disney, they actually got to operate as their own individual county and as a state government, their own state government within their, you know, the state. So they had all kinds of tax protections. They didn't have to pay all kinds of fees, regulations. Now they are responsible for obtaining the roads. They have to pay for all the buildings, and they don't get all these tax write-offs for the utilities, the electricity, the water, the repairs, the upkeep, you know, for the safety concerns of the people and everything else. Imagine this, that you know, people act like Disney is actual business. I mean, sure, there's money involved, but they're not actually a business where they are responsible for their own bills, you know, for their, you know, their own upkeep. Imagine if your house was paid, your water, your electricity, everything was paid by the government, and you had no responsibility for that, and you had special legal protections as well. That's one reason when people have died or people have had their legs or arms broken at Disney World, that you know, you legally don't really have much of a right to bring them to court. So you know, you could try to fight them on the public scene. You know, try to go to the news and try to get money that way for the you know, the damages and the hurt that you've occurred. But people decide to settle with Disney and get paid off, essentially, you know, for that money. But you know, they get far less that they would get if it actually went to court with actual lawyers, and they would get far less money I mean, they would get far more if they were able to, and it protects Disney's good image as well. Like, that's what this is all about. They don't like that their protections are being removed, and it's a threat to CNN as well. CNN has all kinds of privileges, tax write-offs, tax deductions, and things that you pay for to, you know, essentially pay for this propaganda and this types of lies. So journalism is dead. Again, feel free to find these articles and read on them. I'm not trying to say these articles are perfect or I agree with everything in these articles, but these people can get away with a lot. My channel, here you go. I can show you a little bit of my stats. I've been losing subs, but surprisingly, I've been getting a lot more views because of my shorts and all that, and I'm happy to do that. So maybe that's what I'm going to have to focus on. YouTube creators here, I wanted to mention this with YouTube, jumping to YouTube again real quick. I'm really tired of their, you know, YouTube originals. They're very biased. They're extremely biased, and you can watch some of this and try to understand the world of YouTube. Again, so many people don't understand where YouTube came from and what YouTube is supposed to be. YouTube is supposed to be a counter mainstream news. They're supposed to be a counter, you know, YouTube was made to be opposition or an escape to mainstream news, sharing real opinions, real information, real facts, not being bought out, not being you know, selling products. It was created to help people. And YouTube now, for some reason, CNN, Fox, and all these people, and I think it was a two-sided deal. I think YouTube got a lot of money to get CNN and Fox and all these people on their site and establish them. Put them straight to the top, because again, there was people out there like Tim Pool, and there's lots of commentators. I mean, John Likas, again, love him or hate him, was kicked off of this platform. You can't really even find his stuff. There's a couple ways you can find it, but it's hidden, and it does not get advertisements on it. It's essentially hidden here on YouTube. There's lots of people who were radio show hosts and all kinds of other people, but now CNN was pushed to the top with Fox News and others, MSNBC, BBC, and all these other organizations, because they bought into it. I think YouTube did it to also boost their image. It gave them a form of protection, because if you don't know, there was a couple, we'll talk about those, but there was a couple, what they call quote-unquote apocalypses with YouTube, where YouTube lost a bunch of its advertisers. And that's how they make most of their money. And they wanted, I think this is what the type of plea type of deal they took, or the negotiations they thought that was best for them. So, see, because YouTube doesn't want to stand on their own, they don't want to stand with their creators, they don't want to take accountability, just like with content targeted towards kids, they are going to throw you under the bus legally. They're not going to tell you what is or what's not, you know, allowed for kids. If you make YouTube content, if it's made for kids or not, they're not going to provide you any legal protection. So this, I mean, I don't know why. This is one reason why people are running away from YouTube and quitting YouTube, is because they are in the business of just making money. And yeah, they don't care about who built their platform, who supported their platform. They still hate PewDiePie. They still ostracize PewDiePie, who built their platform and was the most successful thing that probably ever happened to them here on YouTube. I mean, they still don't speak of him and don't care about him. So, you know, I'm not going to focus on this too much, but the news has been suppressing all kinds of things. They act like these types of things are defamatory. You might think that I'm just a crazy, stupid guy now. How dare I speak about these types of things? How dare I even mention them? The thing is, they're news. Whether you think that they're good or bad, that's not for YouTube to decide, and that's not for you to decide to deplatform. I mean, it's one thing if people are actively going out there and actively doing violence or actively doing terrible things, but sharing of information and sharing of ideas is not that. The thing is, we have people who have gotten into positions of power. I'm not going to debate or get into too much into Biden here, but he is extremely corrupt. He's an extremely bad person. He's delusional. He has dementia, just like Nancy Pelosi. These people who do not care about you, they do not care about your kids. In fact, Biden might just be hurting your kids. It might have done a lot of bad things to a lot of kids, and there's a lot of things to support that out there. So again, Twitter will shut you down, TikTok will shut you down, and everything else in the world. So what else can I say? What else can I say? Men, I don't want this to be a drama channel. I don't want to make this a channel, you know, just about drama. This channel is all about helping you, people out there, be successful, be happy, and make a better world. So the thing is, you are going to have to organize yourselves. You need to speak. There's so many good people out there, parents as well. I mean, you need to get out here. You just want to live your life. You know, there's people in the past, I believe it was Thomas Jefferson, who said that the government should be able to work, or should work, without interruption, without drama, and that, you know, you as a daily person shouldn't have to think about the politics of the day, because government essentially is there to protect your rights. If there shouldn't be all this finagling and fighting over who gets certain benefits, who gets certain programs, who gets this money, you know, given to them, allocated to them, who is being taxed more, who's being taxed less. That's not what the government was supposed to be about. The funny thing is, we're just going to continue down this street. We're just going to continue doing this, and, you know, the thing is, you have a voice, and you can change things. You can change the world. And I want you to be able to. I want you to put out your voice out there and help the world. You're going to have to jump through a bunch of hurdles, but you probably will be able to accomplish it. You will be able to do it eventually. You know, there's a bunch of voices we need out there. YouTube says to have your voice. We'll see if they actually care about you having your voice, sharing your truth, sharing your feelings, sharing your opinion. We'll see if they actually care, because that's their big message right now. They're saying that every voice should be heard, everybody should have a platform to be able to express themselves. Let's see if YouTube actually does, because so far they've already kept me down. They've already silenced me a good bit. And again, Susan Wojcicki can do an interview with a Pakistani feminist. Whether you love that or hate that, if that's a good thing or a bad thing to you. That's a very controversial thing, and not, I mean, that's promoted. That was promoted on YouTube, and a part of YouTube, and done by the CEO of YouTube. And so is there a double standard? Oh, absolutely there's a double standard. So let me know how you feel about this below. Let me know what you think and what you feel, and I'll see you soon in the next episode of Daddy Knows Best. Hope that you have a good day. I'll see you next time.